For the other example here, we have row 1 multiplied by row 4. So this is our row 4 and this is our row 1. And 1 is mapped to 5, and we will look 5 to the other mapping, which is equal to the row 1, which is here, and 5 is mapped to 4. So 1 is mapped to 5. 1 is mapped to 4. So here, as what we can see, 1 is mapped to 4. So that is the process, how we can obtain the result. It is like the procedure of composite function, how composite function works. So if we multiply row 1 to row 4, it is equal to row 5. And row 2 multiplied by row 5 is equal to row 7. And row 3 multiplied by row 5 is equal to the identity, which is row 0. And row 4 multiplied by row 7 is equal to row 3. And for the other example, we have here mu1 multiplied by mu5. And our obtained result is row 4. And row mu2 multiplied by mu6, it is equal to row 4. And mu3 multiplied by mu7 it is equal to row 4. And mu4 multiplied by mu8, it is also equal to row 4. So after we have operate all the possible combinations from the identity, which is the row 0 up to mu8, we have here the table of results. So now we will gonna check if it is a group. So in order to determine if our table forms a permutation group structure, we must ensure that it meets the following requirements. So these are the following requirements that must be satisfied. So it must be close, which means that in our table, all the outcomes are within our set, which is the elements of row 0, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, row 7, mu1, mu2, mu3, mu4, mu5, mu6, mu7, and lastly, mu8. And for our associativity, we will check if it is associative. And we will also check if it has a identity, an identity element, and we will check if it has inverse element for all. So as what you can see here in our table, all the outputs, all the result after we operate um, these columns to our rows, as what you can see, there is no other variables that involved here. Since all the elements, all the outputs are within our set, meaning to say, or therefore, it is closed. So first requirement is satisfied. So now let let us test if this table is associative. So we will rotate our table 180 degrees. So this is the result after we obtain 100, after we rotate our table to 180 degrees. And after that, we will rearrange the columns of the table. And by uh, rearranging the columns and the rows of our table, we will interchange row 2 to row 8, row 3 to row 7, row 4 to row 6, row 9 to row 15, row 10 to row 14, and row 11 to row 13. So after we interchange the rows of our table, we have here the obtained result. And as what you can see, it is equal to our original table before we rotate and rearrange our table. So meaning to say, since the result of after we rotate 180 degrees the table, and after we rearrange or interchange the columns, some of the columns of our table, and it is equal to the original table, therefore we can say that our table is associative. So second requirement is satisfied. So again, for our third requirement, this table must have a identity element. So in finding the identity element, we have here the general formula, which is x times e is equal to x. So as what you can see here, our identity element is row 0 because it forms a line of symmetry here uh, for rows and also columns, and it is intersect into our identity, which is row 0. So by applying also this general formula, we can see that in uh, after we after we use this general formula, we will see that row 0 is the actual identity element of our table. So our identity element is row 0. And row 0 is unique and it is also distinct, which means it is accepted because identity element must be distinct and unique. So for our identity element, here our table, we can say that it has identity element. So the third requirement is satisfied. So last requirement, it must have um, inverse element for all. So as what you can see here, by using the formula of x times x prime is equal to e. So the blue colors are the inverse of the inverse of the elements for each. So the inverse element of row 0 is row 0 itself, and the inverse of row 1 is row 7, and the inverse of row 2 is row 6, and row 3 is row 5. Row 4, the inverse of row 4 is row 4, and the inverse of row 5 is row 3, and the inverse of row 6 is row 2, and the inverse of row 7 is row 1. So for our line of symmetries, row 1 is the inverse of row 1 is row 1. The inverse of row 2 is row 2. The inverse of this mu1 is mu1, and the inverse of mu2 is mu2, mu3 is mu3, mu4 is mu4, mu5 is mu5, mu6 is mu6, mu7 is mu7, mu8 is mu8. As what you can see here in our line of symmetries, which is the mu movement, the inverse of each element is their self, which is meaning to say the inverse element of each element is themselves. So as what you can see here, all the elements has their own inverse element. So our inverse element is actually is true that for all element, each of them has own inverse elements. So that is true. So our fourth requirement is satisfied. So here, since it satisfies all the requirement that must be checked, therefore our table is a permutation group. So that's all for our permutation group, and I hope you enjoy our video for today. Thank you everyone, and thank you for watching.